Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. I'm Whitney Reynolds, your host, and today we're talking all about parenting in Chicago. I'm joined by Erin Krex with First Class Care. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Great. You know, one of the reasons we have you on today is because you cover so many different things under your business, and nannying being one of those. And I feel like whenever people find out they're pregnant, that is one of the first discussions they have. Are we going to have a nanny, a babysitter, daycare? There's so many different options, but you're going to kind of break those down for us.
Sure, absolutely. So when a family gets pregnant or has a child, there's three main options that they look into. It's having a personal nanny, going into daycare, or having an au pair. And there are three very different options, and there are pros and cons to each of them.
See, one of the things that I really like about the nanny aspect or an au pair or having someone come in and help is, you know, kind of like equal, I don't want to say opportunity, but like that way the women can still work and they can still go on with their own lives.
Yeah, there's definitely flexibility when you have a nanny or an au pair. You know, families work all different kinds of schedules these days. I mean, I have families, they need their nanny to be there at 5 a.m. Daycares don't open at 5 a.m. So it's a really good reason to have a personal nanny, and scheduling is definitely something to think about.
Well, and sometimes if you even have more than one kid, even if the wife or husband stays at home, they still might need that extra help, because it's hard when you have, you know, a baby in one arm, 7-year-old in the other. It kind of gets chaotic.
Yeah, absolutely. And families, even if they have two kids, they want someone home with the child because they're napping and they have to go pick up the other one.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely teamwork when you have a nanny.
So let's break down these three different things you were talking about. Nannying first. Why do you hear most people say we need a nanny? And what is it? Is a nanny, do they sleep there? Do they leave? Like, what are the qualifications of a nanny?
Nannies can be live-in or live-out. You can have them anywhere from 1 day a week to 6 days a week. Okay. So, I mean, it's very, very custom to a family. They provide one-on-one care for your children, and they also take care of light housekeeping. You know, they'll do the laundry, make sure your house is tidy when you come home from work. So it's definitely an added bonus so that when you do come home from work, you can spend quality time with your family and you're not worrying about the dishes or the laundry or anything like that.
You know, I'm not a parent, but I'm thinking that whenever I do become that way, a nanny would probably be the way to go. Is there any way to say to this nanny, like when you're interviewing them, like, hey, I have my little child now, but I want you to be there when she's 6. Is that how it works? Because I see sometimes nannies grow with the family, and that would make me sad as a parent, you know, to have someone in and then have them gone tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the average lifespan of the nanny is probably 2 years with a family. Oh. It really depends on the nanny and the family. You know, I mean, I would say in the last 3 years, the nannies are moving on faster because parents are getting let go from their jobs. So their time frame, they want to stay with the family for as many years as the family wants them. But really, it's the families that are having to let them go sooner than everybody wants.
Right. I guess that does make sense. Yeah. And so nannying, it could be anywhere 1 to 6 days a week, or you said every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some nannies do live in.
Yes, some nannies do live in. Really what you need to think about when looking for a nanny is what are your expectations, what do you want to get out of it, what is your schedule, and what's your budget? Because having a nanny is the most expensive.
I agree. And then how do you know, like background-wise, obviously you go through a different, like they go through a company like yours, where then you handle all that other.
Right. So if you go to a professional agency, the agency should do all the screening, all the background checks, everything. I mean, at First Class Care, we do doctor's physicals. We make sure they have CPR. We actually make sure that they have the INA Basic Skills Test, which tests them on basic childcare skills.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you do a lot of the background.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about au pairs. Am I saying that right? Au pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fancy word.
So an au pair is basically a foreign exchange student. They don't have very much childcare experience. They're basically coming here to experience the United States. But they can come here if they do childcare for a family. They're very limited what they can do. They can only work a maximum of 40 to 45 hours a week.
Okay.
And they cannot do any household duties that are not specifically related to the children.
Oh, so no like dishwasher.
Well, the dishwasher, I mean, you can if it's the kids, you know, I mean, you're throwing it in, but they should not be doing family laundry or, you know, running errands for the family, additional duties that a lot of nannies will do.
Okay, so there is a difference there.
Yeah.
And do au pairs live in?
Au pairs always live in, and they're typically very young, and they like to go out a lot.
Oh, okay.
So
they're
you have
younger.
to be prepared to have an additional person living in your house that is going out, and you're kind of the parent to that person as well.
Okay, so you're kind of picking up an extra child as well.
Exactly.
Okay, got that. Now, one of the big things, going back to nanny and au pairs, like bringing people in your house, do you ever hear that mothers are worried about the disconnect with their kids, saying, okay, is this woman or the nanny that we're having come in going to be closer with my little Whitney Jr. than I would be?
I think a lot of first-time parents are very worried about that, but as a working mother myself, when I had a nanny she was working 50 hours a week, my son knew exactly who I was when I got home, and they know the difference between mommy and nanny, for sure.
The mommy bond. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for coming on and explaining
No problem.
all this.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, coming up next, we've been at Be Bye Baby all today, but we're actually going to meet the owners behind this wonderful business. We'll be right back.
Do you have an idea for an upcoming Weekends with Whitney show? We want to hear from you. Make sure to email us at producer@weekendswithwhitney.com.